Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal. The deal is complete. The Fabrizio here we go has arrived. A massive signing for the Gunners ahead of what is set to be an epic summer, not just for Arsenal, but for the Premier League in general. We're also looking this morning at Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United. This deal is on. This deal is active. Frimpong potentially replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool as well. Get the like button smashed. Get this shared across your social medias. Let's go. Good morning and welcome back to the Done Deal show. And look, it's not been a great week for Arsenal. Nobody's going to skirt over that and pretend that that doesn't exist. However, some really positive news this morning. Martin Zubimendi, one of the best midfield players in La Liga, will become an Arsenal player next season. Fabrizio confirmed this. Of course, the original story breaking from Sammy McBell. Always got to give credit to the original source here. But it says here, Arsenal agree a deal to sign Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. Here we go. Zubimendi has now verbally agreed to sign a long-term deal. So formal steps will follow soon with Arsenal to trigger the 60 million release clause. Zubi ready to become the first signing of the new season. And of course, there's always been a little bit of anxiety amongst Arsenal fans. They may suffer what Liverpool did with him changing his mind. It doesn't appear that's going to happen this time around. A lot of big rumors in the last few weeks that Real Madrid were going to swoop in and potentially take him away. And look, of course, Arsenal's detractors, Arsenal fans who despise Arteta, didn't believe this story was true. They played it down. They said that Sammy McBell, they said that Ornstein, they said that Arsenal were essentially lying. At the very least, that's a conversation that doesn't have to happen now amongst Arsenal fans. This is a fantastic signing. There is just no doubt about it whatsoever. This is a fantastic signing. Liverpool, and you know, one of the best gauges was Liverpool supporters when they thought they had him. You saw how excited they were. They were over the moon. They were buzzing, and rightfully so, because there is a talent. And having a player for Arsenal that sits in a deeper midfield position, who is highly competent on the ball. We've all seen that's been one of the big. Listen, Dembele scoring the goals, and Kvaratskhelia is lighting things up. Donnarumma is pulling off great saves for PSG. But that midfield with the Vitinhas, the Neveses of this world, Arsenal need to increase that technical ability within those central areas. And Zubimendi is without a doubt that guy. Phenomenal signing, 60 million euros. Relatively cheap. I know that's a lot of money to us normal people, but 50 million pounds for a top-level central midfield player, I think in 2025 is a very, very good deal indeed. So Arsenal fans, let us know how you feel. João Neves is better, and that's fair to say he's better. I mean, they're not going to be able. It doesn't matter whether he's better or not. He's not able to. Arsenal can't get him from PSG, so they've got to sign somebody else. It's if Man United want to sign the best centre back in the world, it's impossible because that's that's not Ligt. That's Van Dijk. So yeah, great. Can't be signed. So therefore, you've got to sign somebody else. I think it's an irrelevant point. Let's talk about Zubimendi. Arsenal has nothing but Zubimendi. I mean, it's just okay. Fair enough. If that's what you think there. Terry at it again, twerking for Arsenal. I'm sorry this news has broke this morning. I'm sorry, maximum potential that the news broke, and I'm talking about it. It was, yeah, you're right. Last night I was sitting there and said, listen, I rung up Fabrizio, I phoned Sammy McBell, contacted Berta, and I said, look, you've got to get this news out tomorrow morning so I can twerk for Arsenal fans. That's exactly it. Arsenal Terrace, and we love it. Yeah, it's not my fault. Arsenal broke the news, but there we go. VVD is not the best centre back in the world anymore. I still think he is personally, but Patrick, I was making a point, about the need to go. Someone else is better. If they're better but unattainable, it's an irrelevance when it comes to transfers. Terry here says, great signing. We need that alongside Rice. Now go and get that forward, Arteta. Well, look, this is very much on Berta now. And that leads us in very nicely into our next story. I'm going to read this for you here. Let me just get this up in my bookmarks. This from Alex Crook only a few hours ago said that Victor Gyokeres would prioritize a move to join Arsenal over Manchester United this summer. As we understand, Arsenal are also understood to be the front runners and are confident of signing Gyokeres when the summer transfer window opens. And for me, that is, I agree with you, Terry Wiltott, that I don't believe that you have to sign your number one priority first, because life doesn't work that way. However, it's very, very important, in my personal opinion, that Arsenal go and sign that striker. If I'm just being unbiased and completely objective, it's very, very important that Arsenal go and do that. Zubimendi raises the technical floor. He improves the central midfield areas. A player like Victor Gyokeres, if these stories are true this morning, that they are leading the way, absolutely imperative that Arsenal bring somebody in with the goal-scoring prowess, with the overarching ability of somebody like a Victor Gyokeres, a Victor Osimhen. I don't see Arsenal personally getting Alexander Isak. There's an outside chance Liverpool could, but even then, I still just look at how much money is being demanded by Newcastle, and I think he'll end up staying for that reason. I still think that's where like the number one area is for me. But I wanted to show you guys something actually when it comes to the strikers. An assessment was done by, I'm not too sure who did this assessment. Scouted is who did this, and I'm going to do a different screen for a second. I want to put it in big on the screen so you can all see it. Bear with me a second, peeps. Bear with me a second because I didn't get this graphic ready. I should have done. Very unprofessional of me. So you have to bear with me getting this ready while we're live. But that's what live streaming is sometimes. That's cool. I need to just blur that background because I was going to put. I did have a graphic sort of ready, but that's too small. You guys are not going to be able to read it so great. So I wanted to make it a bit bigger, so I've got to make it again. Okay. Let me just get this downloaded and then uploaded onto the screen so you can all see it. Bear with me a second. All right, it's uploading now. No better put it on the screen. So when we're talking about strikers here, obviously, so let me put it up on the screen. So I was reading this. It was very, very interesting. That breaks down. It says Alexander Isak is a complete forward. Isak is the only striker from the most wanted group to score 70 plus in all 5 attributes. We know 70 plus for 5 attributes. But you actually look at this, though, and you think about this is how they've scouted it. Like shot location, very, very good. But you see there, Gyokeres very, very high. You see shot placement, Gyokeres above him. You see passing, not too much of a difference between the two of them, but decent. You see ball carrying, Gyokeres better than Isak. This is only according to them. You see dribbling slightly better, aerial threat slightly better, passing. That's an area that is a concern, I would say, in comparison to Isak. You look there at I think it's no, it's not Ekitike. Somebody else there sitting on 100% is crazy. You look at the physical side of things, he's seen as more physical. But this is the thing for Arsenal. They need to be looking at the Isaks, the Gyokereses, the Ollie Watkins. They need one of these individuals to move them on. And I completely agree with what Terry Wiltott was saying in the comment section below. Zubi do with Arteta at the helm. Oh, is that who do you support, bro? Who do you support? Let me know. I'm interested. Patrick here says we can buy all the star fantasy teams. It won't matter as long as the nearly man is in charge. Yes, I understand that some people don't want Arteta to be given another season. We had a very long, frank, and honest debate about that last night on Heated here on the Football Terrace. And I think that it's, how do I say this in the right way? It's fair. It's fair that Arsenal fans feel that way. What you may find, though, if we just look at this from a fan perspective for a moment and put the club and put the footballing element of your club aside, just look at it from the fans' point of view. I do think that if you bring in Zubimendi's and Gyokeres of this world and Arteta doesn't get over the line, I think what it will do is it will at least end the debate so that Arsenal fans can move on. So Arsenal fans can talk about something else. So Arsenal fans can be, you're never going to be 100% in unison, but you might find yourselves in a position where the consensus and the majority agree, which I think is really, really important when it comes to your club moving forward to a certain degree. So I get where you're coming from, Patrick. I do. Isak will only go to Liverpool. Arsenal don't win trophies. Arsenal are a PR machine. Perfect timing. Look, there's definitely PR timing in this. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And I wouldn't say that this was done already and they've waited to announce it, but you probably find since Wednesday, there's been a case of, look, let's push for this and let's get it like firmed up. Let's get it signed, sealed, delivered, because Arsenal fans need some positive news. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. You've seen already, Josh, the reactions here from a lot of Gooners, really happy with the deal, still unsure about the manager, and that's fine. But at the same time, there are other clubs circling. So they've got some really good business done early, and that deserves praise. But Sam is going to is going to be talking more about Zubimendi this summer than winning the league. Yeah, Sam's going to be fuming. Samir Ahmed says, Terry, imagine Real Madrid coming from McAllister since Zubi went to Arsenal. I can't wait. Hussam excuses if the deal is complete. Most Arsenal fans that wasn't Arteta out are clueless to Arsenal fans that wasn't Arteta out are clueless, too emotional. Arsenal isn't the massive club they think it is compared to others. Is what you're saying here that they should be happy with what they have because they're not a massive club? Is that what you're suggesting here? I'm just trying to make sure I understand exactly what your message is, so I don't misrepresent it. But look, Arsenal are a really big club. There is no doubt about it. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not. That would be very, very disingenuous indeed. We're obviously talking other stories today as well on the Done Deal show. Manchester United pushing for Brian Mbeumo. Newcastle, yes, seen as the front runners. Everybody is aware of that. But Manchester United entering the race, irrespective of deals for Cunha and Delap. I'd love to get your thoughts. I'd love to get your opinions on that in the comment section below. Plus, Frimpong to Liverpool from Bayer Leverkusen. Is he the right replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold? We're going to go into those stories. We're also going to share the link and take some calls from you this morning as well. People have asked for these shows to come back where you guys can phone in to give your opinion on these transfers. We're going to get that link out momentarily. CJ here says, I'm excited to see who Man City sign so far. Our trophy haul since Pep took over is 18 trophies. Can we do 19? Very likely. You should beat Crystal Palace. An embarrassment for you if you don't. But you're going to sign some really good players. One of the players you're linked to today actually is Baleba. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to read the story here so that I don't misquote what's being said. But it says, this is from Jack Golan, who says Man City have had scouts watching Carlos Baleba this season and the midfielder, and is a midfielder they are impressed with. Now, it doesn't speak about it being advanced. It doesn't speak about bids going in, but this would be a fantastic piece of business for Manchester City if they were able to pull this off. There is no doubt about that. And he has been phenomenal since he joined Brighton. I'd be intrigued to see him in a better team, surrounded by better quality. We're seeing now the sheer quality and the sheer brilliance of Caicedo at Chelsea really starting to shine through to a much higher degree than what we saw at Brighton. If Baleba could go to Manchester City, CJ, and had that same kind of impact, what a signing What a signing that would be. What a signing that would be. Right, I'm taking a sip of my tea this morning, people. Terry, is there any Gibbs White news? Well, there's no updates on Gibbs White aside from what we spoke about the other day. And he's a top priority for Manchester City. He's a player that you're seriously looking at, and it could definitely happen. Carl here says Arsenal's Premier League rivals believe the Gunners will win the race to sign Victor Gyokeres. Yeah, we spoke about that a little bit earlier in the show, and I'm not surprised to hear that at all. I'm just going to share the link in some of the group chats here if people come in. Bear with me a sec, my people. Just spell that right. Yeah, I did. I'm going to stick it into our group chats and put it into our member chat first. We're going to be, we're going to be bringing a lot of stuff back soon for our members. We tried something new, it didn't really work, but we'll be doing some stuff. Let me do it call in now. Let's put the call in. I'm going to put the call in link into the chat as well for you, man. If you want to dial in and have your say. How do I pin it? I should remember these things. I've been doing YouTube 7-8 years. There we go. Sweet. That is in. That is out there for you guys to click on. So glad to see United are going for Prem-proven players. I worry about players from abroad taking time to settle. Look, this is, I mean, obviously links into the Brian Mbeumo news this morning. And there are no guarantees we're going to land all these players. But, you know, taking a player of Mbeumo's quality from Brentford would be massive. One, it weakens slightly one of the teams that is always a sort of thorn in your side. Cunha, phenomenal player. But those two, we're looking at both those two in isolation. It's not one or the other, according to the reports. If we're able to land both of those players, I was speaking about this last night on the United stand. And what is so important, what is so imperative to remember is that, and I want to make sure I say this in the right way, there's a lot of Man United fans who are, oh, but what about Ahmad and Bruno plays in that 10 role? Is Mbeumo right for that position? Let me tell you this now. And let's be frank about it. It's not about one size fits all. This obsession that football fans have with we need specialists. Yeah, you do in certain positions and for certain times. Ugarte is a specialist at breaking up play and winning the ball back. And there are certain times, certain games where that's needed. And he has to start. But what I like about the idea of having Cunha and Mbeumo, one, that's potentially 25 to 30 additional league goals between them. Massively important. But what it means, some games you might want your 10 to drift out and be more in a wide position. You start Mbeumo. Sometimes you might want one. We need to be central today. The team X that we're playing struggles with that central 10 position. Bruno starting in the 10. Today we're starting Ahmad on the right-hand side. Equally, versatility and depth. Ahmad got injured and our world collapsed because that was it. We need more options. We need more competition. We need a dichotomy. I love that word in talent in those areas. So I agree with you 110%. I'm very excited about the links. Prem proven, but it's the age thing for me. Nearly every single player, barring Delap, who, by the way, is going to turn 23 next season. He's not a baby. Every single player that we are linked to is 24, 25, 26, and or older, experienced, played at the highest level, been in difficult leagues. I really like the approach that Manchester United are going with. So I agree with your comment 110%. I really, really do. Terry, is Campos going United? I don't think so. That was shut down. There's no there's no detail that he isn't going to. Tyrell Gunner TV here says Victor Gyokeres is the striker. I still think we need Victor Gyokeres is the striker. I think we need the chances we create. He can put away. Yeah, the chances, and that I agree with, and that's why I sort of feel a little bit like Arsenal do need to improve on players. They need a better striker. I think they need to try and find someone who is an upgrade, an improvement on Odegaard, as an example. Martinelli needs to be upgraded on. Good player, very good player. But Arsenal have shown that they are, and this is why the Zubimendi deal, I think, is so important. The Zubimendi deal has an importance to it because I want to make sure I say this in the correct way. he gives a new dimension, a new feel, a different weapon to Arsenal's midfield. Jorginho is good at knocking the ball about and maintaining the sort of flow of a game and dictating it. But he's older. He's less physical than Zubimendi. He's not as quick. He's not as fast. I don't think he's as strong. So Zubimendi adds a different level of ball playing ability. And some of it is going to be subtle. Some of it isn't even going to overly impress. It's not spectacular. It's not like, oh my God, there was a drag back and a step over. He controlled the ball. He said, you know, when that control people do, where they control it by sitting on it. He's not going to do it. I don't know what it's called. It's probably got a name. It's not going to be like watching a freestyle baller. It's going to be somebody that picks that ball up off the defense, is that conduit, that cartilage between the defense and the midfield. But he's going to dictate tempo. He's going to control the flow of the game. He's going to help Arsenal to be more press resistant in the middle. What this should also allow, let's say Odegaard does stay in the team next season, Odegaard won't have to keep dropping so deep like he does in certain games. So when Arsenal often are struggling to keep hold of the ball, you see Odegaard dropping deeper. He drops deeper, and then you're missing an attacking threat in the side. And I think that it's important to understand that Zubimendi, as I say, gives Arsenal a different dimension to their team coming in and doing that. So fantastic signing. Absolutely right, Tyrell. The striker position also needs to be filled. That cannot be, in my opinion, denied in any capacity. It has to be filled. I think it will be. I think Arsenal are going to sign a top striker. They've just gone and got themselves a top midfield player, and their fans should be very, very happy with that. And I know it's a horrible week. I know it's a painful week. And look, in just over 10 Spurs fans and United fans watching, in 10, 11 days' time, one of us is going to be feeling very similar. One of us is going to be feeling very, very similar. Very, very similar indeed. But what do you want? What's the remedy? Well, for me, as much as some Arsenal fans may call it PR and be angry, you've just gone out. What do you want your team to do? I mean, by the way, I will say this. A lot of I don't want to call them negative. A lot of the pessimistic Arsenal fans that will say this is PR are the same people that said this deal won't even happen. So for them to be angry about it is fucking weird. Excuse the language, is weird. Because you can't deny something isn't true. And then when it does happen, say it's PR. Your team's gone out. Your squad needs to be improved. And within a few days, your club's gone out and signed one of the best midfield players from La Liga. I think it's something to be happy about. Doesn't mean you shouldn't still criticize your season. And this is the problem with a lot of the online debates. It all becomes about, this is my stance, I'm angry, and nothing's going to stop me from being angry. I'll be honest with you, I don't care how offensive I sound. That's a child's attitude. That's what my daughter does, who's 6. She's in a bad mood because I said she couldn't play at a friend's house. No matter how much I cheer her up, she sits in the corner sulking with her lip down. That's a child. An adult can literally, like, Man United lose the Europa League final, I'm going to be pissed. But if 3 days later we announce that we're the Cunha and the Mbeumo deal, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, I don't care because we didn't win anything this season. You've got to look forward, because at the same time you're demanding your team improves. How can you not then be happy when your squad gets improved? Fake for me. It'll be a fake reaction, but there we go. That's enough on that. I'm a spot on with that one. I appreciate it. It's just reading some of the comments is crazy. David here says, keep saying it. Arsenal signed Rashford for 50 to 60 million. You need a game changer and a fresh, happy Marcus Rashford. Is that? Look, Rashford could be. So I'm just making the notes for the timestamps. Rashford could happen. Rashford 110% could become an Arsenal player. I don't want it. I've said it all along. As a Man United fan, I really do want the best for Rashford. I think he'd kill it. We saw how well he did at Aston Villa. Arsenal are a better team. And I know that a lot of Gooners don't want him because they view it as, we don't want a project and a play that we've got to fix. I don't know how much fixing he needs. I think that's already kind of happened at Aston Villa. I think he would walk in with a bit of a buzz. You look what he did to PSG. Look what he did to PSG. Unai Emery stupidly took him off. How Arsenal could have done with that in those 2 legs. He can be a game changer. He really, really can. And I think what Rashford would bring to Arsenal is he wouldn't be your star player. Your Declan Rices and your Sakas, etc., are above him in that pecking order. And I think he would thrive in an environment where he isn't necessarily the star guy where all the pressure is upon him. And if you're picking him up for the kind of money you're talking, it's not even like a massive signing in the modern day era. Terry, is there a possibility Gyokeres moves to Barca in the summer? Look, Abs, there's always a possibility. I haven't personally seen any links, so that could be that. I did want to get all of your opinions as well on the situation with Frimpong. Do you think Frimpong to Liverpool is a good bit of business? I'd love to get... I want him at Man United. I'm gutted. Let me just be honest about it. Not the greatest defender, but that never worried Liverpool fans when it came to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I am a little concerned. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little concerned about Liverpool's summer transfer window. Some of the players they're linked to, Turkeys, Frimpongs, Isaks, they're already the champions of England. They're already an excellent team. I am worried. I can't lie. I am genuinely worried. I really, really am. I think it'd be a good bit of business as well. The story, actually, if I read it here, and I'm going to be bringing on Jason in a minute, and we've got a Liverpool fan as well, whose name I am struggling to pronounce, coming on to the show very soon. If you want to call in, the link is in our live chat. You can come on and have your say about any of these transfer stories today. The link is from Fabrizio Romano, and he says that Liverpool are well informed on Jeremy Frimpong's situation and how the installments are defined in his 35 million to 40 million release clause. That's euros, that is. He remains one of the main names on the shortlist to replace Trent, with Frimpong expected to eventually expected to be eventually keen on the move. I don't know what that means, but it's kind of a weird sentence. But 35 to 40 million euros is a steal. If you get him for that lower end on installment, that's 29 million pound for Frimpong. I really do look at that as a cost and think to myself, phenomenal. 39 million. I'm an idiot. 29 million pound for Frimpong. That's excellent business, in my opinion. Excellent business, which I think Liverpool fans should be happy with, at the very least happy with, when you look at it and you break that down. So, yeah, look, I think that'd be a really good little bit of business for Liverpool. I like Connor Bradley. I think there's an excellent little young player in there. Maybe a little bit too soon to make him the starter. And I say that because young players, they have great games, they have up and down games. Trent Alexander-Arnold as a youngster got away with his inconsistencies as a defender. One, with the setup of the team and the way that the Wijnaldums and the Hendersons were used. But he also got away with it, Trent, because of his phenomenal technical ability on the ball and the creativity. So the goals he created and the playmaking element of his game made up for some of the defensive holes. Connor Bradley doesn't have that same level of attacking intent and quality. Therefore, the mistakes may protrude that little bit more. So I do think it's something that needs to be focused on. And I think Frimpong would be a very, very, very good signing. Terry Bradley is injury prone. That is why we need Frimpong. And Ali, that's a great point. I never really thought about his injury problems, but I'm going to bow down to your superior knowledge as a Liverpool fan and say that makes a lot of sense why you would look at him. And Wesbird here says it's a steal. And it is for £29 million. Sam's a United fan says the same thing. That is a very, very, very good piece of business for the price. 110% it is. Jason's here with us to have his say. Arsenal, Zubimendi, the deal's complete. Morning, mate. Obviously a horrible week for you as an Arsenal fan, but some really positive news to wake up to.
Yeah, I would say positive. At least we were kind of like making moves in the market, which is a really good thing. I mean, the deal was done pretty much earlier anyway, February, around Jan-Feb time. At the same time, I feel like, you know what, Zubimendi, I like him. I like him as a player. It's one of those guys. He's a good technical player. But when it comes to the Premier League, do you feel like he will get bullied there because of his stature? Or do you feel like the physicality should be there in order to kind of play that DM role when you're in the Premier League itself? So Because to be fair, like after a game against United, Casemiro bullied him. So I was just like, I was kind of like in two minds. Is he one of those guys who get bullied really easily, like, or do we actually really need him? Because we already have Partey, Rice, a few other players that can play in that position as well. But yeah, it's one of those things where I like him as a player. I like him as a player. He can dictate the midfield really well. But at the same time, I feel like I have really good question marks in terms of his physicality. And I feel like we need more of a creative player or a creative presence in this Arsenal team right now than more of a DM itself. So it's one of those things. I'm okay about it as long as we sign a few more players, a few more cogs in the team, where strikers is a priority, attacking midfielder is a priority as well as a left winger there. And we just need a little bit more. We need a little bit more players in depth because obviously a few players are leaving. Kieran Tierney's leaving, Sterling's leaving. Not that I care. Neto, Partey might be leaving in a free contract. Jorginho's leaving. There's a lot of players that are leaving in a free contract, and you can see our bench can be a little bit more empty as well. And it's one of those things where we need to kind of stand. I feel like it's quantity and quality this time, but I feel like a little bit more quantity to fill out that squad itself. But yeah, it is what it is.
You know what you said about Zubimendi? You're right. The Man United were the better team over those games. What I would say is this: is that the physicality element? You're right in terms of Rodri's and Partey's.
Yeah,
Casemiro's are physically stronger than Zubimendi, but it's about the team that's around them. For instance, we have seen the quality when you look at Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, João Neves, when they work as a three with the quality of the defense behind them, with the brilliant press from the front players, you get those players thrive. If you took João Neves out of that PSG team, or Vitinha's probably had more praise. So let's take Vitinha out of that PSG team and put him in, say, Tottenham's midfield. There'd be games where the midfield would still get run over because the players supporting him, the players ahead of him in terms of the attack and the press aren't as good. So I think that you're right to have those concerns, and there's always a chance that he doesn't make it in the Premier League. But you're bringing him into a midfield that's going to have Thomas Partey potentially staying. He's going to have Declan Rice in it. You've got William Saliba and Gabriel behind him. You have a very good press from your front line already. So I think that the physicality elements will be covered by other players. What you're really bringing him in to do is dictate that play from deep. Be that kind of deep passer is the colloquial term I hear a lot. And I think he'll do a fantastic job. And equally, doesn't mean he has to start every game. And 100%. That's where... Go on, mate.
Oh, yeah, because in terms of like, does it make sense? Because obviously we have like Partey, Zubimendi, and Declan Rice, which are all DMs that playing in the same starting 11. Or does it feel like imbalance here and there? Could that make it work? Do you feel when it comes to that balance, like when it comes to that balance overall?
Yeah, I mean, look, it can do. I think what's important is you need sort of. I feel like you need contrast. I feel like you need contrast in the midfield. And the one thing you don't really have is a really nimble, a really high level, technical, deep lying midfield player that can pick the ball up deep, dictate the play. Declan Rice, that's not his game. Partey can do it to a degree, but I think Zubimendi is an upgrade. And I think what a midfield needs, the same as an attack, the same as a defense, you need that contrast. You need that difference because there is no such thing as a best 11. In reality, it's what's the best 11 for the team we're about to play? What's the best 11 during rotation when you've got 2 games per week? And you need to add that depth. You need to. That's why any Arsenal fan that says we need a replacement for Saka and a high-level one is right. Because Saka shouldn't be playing the volumes of games that he does without there being, 1, someone pushing him for his position, and 2, someone that can come on 30 minutes in the game, can start in matches and your levels don't drop too much. But equally, sometimes it's important to not buy like for like. Sometimes it's important to have a different type of player because you bring them on and it gives a new feel. You know, you don't want all your substitutions. You saw Man United when we scored those 4 goals against Bilbao. the subs we brought on were very different players compared to the players we took off. So United's team suddenly felt different. So I think that having that contrast, having those differences in your squad is a very, very important component.
Because Terry, that's the problem with Arteta. That's why I have one of his concerns with him, because every time he does bring a sub on, like, why does he have to? Like, I had question marks when he came on, when Ben White came on PSG. Like, we need to throw the kitchen sink out there. Why does he have to bring Ben White? Why is it like for like, or why is it so too much? Why is it like a similar player to XYZ? If we need to attack, we need to bring all our attackers on. It's one of those things. Does it make sense?
No, I totally agree. I totally agree, and that, you know, that contrast is a very, very important element, mate. Jace, always a pleasure to sit there and speak. Question before you go:
yeah,
would you take Rashford for 50 million?
Ooh, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Lower the price than I consider. Can't lie. 45, I don't mind.
Like I'm selling you a car, Jason. All right, we'll do it this way. We do 45 mil, and I'll throw in a car cleaning kit for you as well. All right.
Why not?
There we go. Done deal. Done deal. We don't need Berta. We don't need Wilcock. It's all done, people. Jace, always a pleasure, mate. We'll speak again soon, brother. Take care, my friend. Thank you. No, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm just honest about the situation. It's my superpower that I can talk about other people's football teams without being salty every 5 seconds. It's just a superpower, and I'm very lucky to have it. I get it from my dad. My dad's the same. Just can drop his own views to see things from the other side of the fence. It's nice. It feels good. It's a liberating feeling. London's finest is joining us now. Welcome back to the show, mate. Long time no see. What are you here to say today?
Hi, how are you, Terry?
I'm very well.
Yeah, as an Arsenal fan, it's good to see that we've started moving slightly early, although I think that signing might have been done already in January, kind of thing, because the Arsenal PR machine has kind of told us in January that we're already established that signing for 50 million, I believe, the Zubimendi. So yeah, no, that's a good start, but we need a lot more, as we know. We need I think we need another defender, personally, because I think Saliba and Gabriel are playing way too many games. We've got the midfield situation sorted now with Zubimendi coming in, hopefully. And as every Arsenal fan knows, we need people in attack. So that's not just essentials forward. That's not just a striker. We need a winger as well. So ideally, I think we're about to bring a backup to Raya as well, the Espanyol goalkeeper. We've been linked with him, that Garcia guy. So if we do that, then we got a backup goalkeeper. We've got a backup defender, another one besides Kivior. Zubimendi is coming. I believe he's coming as a direct replacement to Jorginho, who I think is going to Flamengo now.
Yeah, that's done. Yeah,
that's pretty much done. And we'll have an upgrade on Martinelli. And I think one of Martinelli or Trossard is going to leave. I think it's going to be Trossard. I believe that's going to happen. And a forward, which I believe will be either Gyokeres or it won't be Isak. I don't think he's affordable, and I actually think Newcastle will make the Champions League, so I don't think he'll want to leave. So yeah, it's either going to be Gyokeres, or I don't think we're going to be out after Ollie Watkins again. I mean, you look around the market, the striker market is not really. I'd love to hijack Cunha from Man United, by the way. It's just...
Well, you guys have. I mean, that's a really. We spoke about this on
yesterday. I heard that. Yeah.
Yesterday, and according to sources in Brazil, you have thrown your hat into the mix late on this, and listen,
not just us, by the way. I think
there's quite a few teams. There's quite a few teams that also want him. It does. Man United are the most advanced and are close to getting it done. But I get why Arsenal would want him, because if you look at, I know people call him more an 8, Odegaard, cool, but for me, he's your attacking midfield player. And you look at someone like Cunha, he can press as well as him. He's actually quicker. He's stronger. Scores more goals. And I understand exactly why Arsenal would now be looking at a player like Matheus Cunha. And listen, I'm very confident Man United will get that deal over the line. I trust the people. I trust the people at our club in terms of getting these deals done better than the Woodwards of the past. I don't think we'd be briefing the media if we weren't very, very... I felt like this with Zubimendi to Arsenal. I remember saying a few months ago that this would be a disaster if you didn't sign him after the way it was briefed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, would a club brief its fans and the media the way it's done and then not get it done? A very incompetent club would do that. And I just don't think that the Ineos team, when it comes to these deals, are incompetent. They may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I don't think they're incompetent. And I hope that you guys don't come in and grab him. But what a signing that would be for Arsenal. If you were able to do it, what I'm not gonna do is suddenly change stance and pretend that Cunha isn't a fantastic player. So I pray you don't do it, but it would be an amazing signing if you did.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even have to be him. Like, that's just an idea. There is other wingers on the market. You just have to look around. I think somebody like I'm a bit skeptical on him, but a Lookman from Atalanta, I think, is an upgrade on Martinelli and Trossard. I don't really like Nico Williams, and I've seen the 2 games against Man United, the Bilbao games, but not just that. I think in La Liga games, either he doesn't want to play for Bilbao anymore and he's just underperforming, or it's something else. But I wouldn't take that risk. I just definitely think Arsenal definitely need a winger and a striker. It cannot be one or the other. It has to be both of them, because yes, Martinelli has potential, but I think he's missing this final piece. I think he's a good player. I'm not sure he's going to be the player we need to win the big titles that we're gonna be challenging for. And also, whatever is about to happen in this summer should have really happened last summer, so we could evaluate this manager accordingly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think as well, though, there also is a thing of living in the past, and Arsenal, again, like I said about Liverpool last week, I'm not going to tell Arsenal fans how they should and shouldn't feel directly. Sometimes I say it, I go, and I think you should be happy with that. I don't actually mean, I'm not trying to control how people think and feel. I just look at it this way, and it's more just a personal preference. You're right. The summer window you're about to have in 2025 should have happened in 2024. At the same time, just in terms of enjoying it, I think there's an element of, right, wipe your mouths of that and look forward, especially as Berta's here now. And the one thing I think we do terribly as football fans, as a United fan, we do it and others do, is we hold the new people account for what their predecessors got wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
For instance, Wilcott and Barada are not accountable for the 12 years of malpractice that happened at the club before they arrived. It's going to take them a long time to undo it. Now, Berta isn't walking into that same kind of mess that Arsenal were in 5 years ago. You're
not going to blame the Edu signings on Berta.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why sometimes I think as football fans, you have to look at a situation and go, do you know what? I'm fucking annoyed with what happened last summer. I'm annoyed we didn't do this, annoyed we didn't do that. Someone new is now coming in to rectify those issues. So don't kind of put those issues onto that. People do that in relationships. Like, they do it in relationships where they're like, they get a new girlfriend, but all their scars from the previous relationship they take out on the new person. It's not healthy. And I think that that's something that not just Arsenal fans, I think all of us have to look at. No, 110%. It's important to not, Berta's coming in. A lot of this deal was already done, but he's helped get it over the line. You're moving on to other targets, and he can only be judged on what he does while he's at Arsenal. So I hear you on that. Listen, bro, thank you. Go on, make final point, mate. Go on.
Yeah, Terry, I just wanted to inquire real quick before I go. Is there any chance to participate in one of your sort of like shows that you usually do with not the big six, but like
we have the top six. We're bringing the shows like we did yesterday. We're going to be doing some of them over the coming weeks, the heated shows but it's going to be club specific. So yeah, just drop us a message on socials and we'll try and get you involved, bro.
Okay, bro. Thanks.
Lovely. All right, mate. Speak to you again soon. Top man. Obviously, we're a roundup on the news. Zubimendi to Arsenal. The Here We Go is here. It's complete. He will be an Arsenal player. What's next? We want your views on that. Brian Mbeumo to Manchester United is on. United are working on that deal alongside, in conjunction with the Matheus Cunha deal as well. Plus, Frimpong to Liverpool. How big, how good a signing will that be? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions right now in the comment section below. This here from Ross says, we also have Waneri, who I'm sure will be given more game time next season. Great point, Ross. Should have got more game time this year, but I think he'll definitely have that. He'll play more. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. The deal for Zubi was done in January. This PR is to shut up the fans. Listen, Kathy, I think it's a really fair point. What I would push back on is the Arsenal fans that hate the PR I can only go by what I read on Twitter, what I saw on TikTok. The majority of them didn't believe Zubimendi would happen. So I also think what is also a fair point is that it's good that Arsenal close this deal off. It's not looked at as a way to appease fans. It's a genuine bit of business. They mean that they want to go again next year. They want to try and reach new levels. That element is very, very important indeed. The timing of it, yeah, frustrating. And I totally understand it. But we have to not ignore the fact that in the last few weeks, there's been some links to like Real Madrid getting involved. Alonso wanting him as an example. And imagine they didn't close this deal off and then they lost him. Then there'd be a lot more angry Arsenal fans, I think. So I do see where you are coming from with that point. Why didn't you criticize them for hijacking the Cunha deal? Criticize who? Criticize who? So I don't get your point. Well, criticize Arsenal. Well, I don't want them to do it. I want Man United to land it. What I'm not going to do is say Cunha's amazing, Cunha's amazing, Cunha's amazing. I can't wait to sign him. If we miss out on him and he goes to Arsenal, I'm not going to go shit player anyway. I can't act like a 5-year-old. I know people love certain demographics of people love that content. Kids, I'm talking about. I just can't behave that way at nearly 40. Do you know what I'm saying? If Arsenal got him, I'd be pissed off and be angry. But I can be angry at Arsenal nicking him, but still be objective when it comes to reviewing the quality of the signing. I don't understand why people can't understand that. Fucking weird. Giuseppe's here. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, man. Good news to wake up to. Not that I just woke up, but good news to wake up to on the day.
I was going to say, you got a little baby. There's no way you just woke up.
Yeah, nah. I've been up for a long time. A lot of people frustrated with the timing. You can be frustrated, I get it, because it does seem a lot with Arsenal that as soon as we go out of something, good news comes out, PR merchants and stuff. But I look at it more like it's the end of the season for us, right? It might have been focusing on Champions League and stuff. Now we're out of that. The season's basically done for us. So it's straight probably business on the transfer side of things, and it's something we needed done. And as you said, Real Madrid was sniffing and all this stuff, so just get it done, dusted, and it seems that that's what's happened. Obviously the timing is the timing thing's only an issue if Arsenal fans let it be an issue by sweeping everything else under the carpet and ignoring the things that have happened. Like if we just sit there and start going, oh, it's okay that we went out of the Champions League like that, or it's okay that we've done poorly at the end of the season in the league. That's only an issue if we forget about that, which we won't. I won't anyway. And we demand that. I said from the get-go when we went out of the Champions League, the best thing Arsenal can do for me now, because the season's been crap, is at the start of the transfer window, as soon as it opens, bang, sign Zubimendi, bam, if we're getting Gyokeres, sign him straight away, no messing about, and just get the signings in, because what we don't want to do is be 3, 4, 5 weeks into the transfer window and we still ain't even got a player in.
Very true.
And then frustration sort of comes over the fan base and stuff like that.
No, I agree. And what I will say is,
the rivals.
Yeah,
for the Liverpool fans, I know they're salty today. It's crazy how many of rivals are actually salty about us signing a player. They turn it into the whole PR. It's disgusting.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Everyone knows Ches. He was in the chat all morning. It's disgusting PR. It just sounds a bit salty that Arsenal signed the player.
No,
at the end of the day,
I agree.
Why do they care?
Can you hear me?
Why do rivals
Giuseppe,
care that Arsenal, once we've gone out of the Champions League, they're all laughing at us anyway? It's because they're laughing at us and they're like, oh crap, that's actually something good they've done.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What's going on here? I'm so confused. Can you hear me?
Up.
I don't know. You obviously can't hear me. What are the viewers saying here? Because he can't hear me. What's going on? Can you guys see and hear? This is so strange.
Yeah.
What have I just said? I think you've got a
You're
delay.
You're sort of cutting out and cutting in.
That's you. So this is the strangest situation. Hang on.
Yeah. Yes.
Come back in. Come back in a minute. It's just really mad. I don't think he realizes how big a delay there was. That's a massive delay. I thought I died. Right? I was like, oh my God, I'm like a ghost. No one can hear me. He'll come back now. I didn't boot him off. Now can you hear me straight away?
Yeah, I could hear you anyway.
No, mate. There was like a 30, 40-second delay from me saying something and you hearing me.
Oh, okay.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Now, I was going to say about the PR stuff. I get why people call it out. The problem, if we're going to be real, though, the Arsenal fans that will say it's PR are the same Arsenal fans that said Samuel Bell was lying. Said the club said that you were only saying it in January to paper over a bad January transfer window and that it wasn't a true story. And I remember seeing a lot of Arsenal fans online do the whole, watch, we won't get him now. It's all bullshit. You can't have that view. It then basically complete and then go, nah, it's just PR nonsense. Well, it can't be PR. You said it was PR nonsense and a lie to begin with and not happening. Now it is happening. That's the problem I have with it. Is there are certain rivals are meant to do it, by the way. Rivals are meant to shit on you every second they can. It's the Arsenal fans who, no matter how good the news is, will always look for a way to make it a negative. I find those people, as Igal said the other day, they're like cucks. You can, and this is the mad bit, you can be angry at your season and happy about signing Frimpong at the same time. Like those, I don't understand how grown men, because women are fine with it. It's not, women don't do this. It's a man thing. How everything's so polarizing and I'm angry, so nothing's going to make me feel better. It's like, bro, you can't be that angry about football. As much as we all love it, you 3 or 4 days after a defeat, you can't be so angry still that a fantastic piece of transfer news that you didn't think would happen doesn't make you go, I'm really happy with that. It's weird to me. Very weird, childish behavior.
And the same thing that winds me up about these same fans that are moaning about it, and the same fans that also go, oh, it's been 2 weeks into the transfer window. Why have we not signed a player yet?
Yeah.
Why are Arsenal not signing players? We've literally almost signed a player before the window's opened, and they're still moaning about that. Oh, it's because we've gone out of the Champions League. Good. That's actually a positive. If we've gone out of the Champions League and you think that's poor and you think it's because our squad quality is not good enough, it's good that the club has seen that as we've gone out and said, yeah, we need better quality. We're getting this signing done now. We're not missing out on this. We need this signing. If anything, that's a positive. Of course, once again, as I said, fans can't let the negative season go under the rug just to sign players, because some fans also try to do that, and I guess that's why some fans get annoyed.
That's equally
like,
that
now
is,
all the little
bad. So that's equally as childish. I agree.
It's equally as annoying.
No, I totally agree with you.
For me, I'm just happy with the signing in that situation.
Absolutely, and you should be. This year says at 3:40 a.m. in Denver. Big up Terry and the Terrace. Very great to hear the story right now. It's a lift I needed. We beat Madrid to a player. Come on, you Gooners. That is from Abraham Espinoza. It looked really big signing, really important signing. And I think Arsenal fans should be very, very happy indeed. Matt's joining us on the show. What are you here to say, Matt?
Yo, hello, guys. Look, I'm really excited about this signing. We've got it done really early, like literally a couple of weeks before the transfer window opens. So he'll be, in really early, and he'll get to play the whole preseason, which is brilliant. Because again, I am slightly a bit worried about him physically, but him technically is brilliant. Our midfield depth is looking very good if you include Partey. If we get rid of Partey, bit concerned, because it only leaves 2 defensive midfielders over a very big season. So I'm just a bit worried about that. But if Partey stays, we've got 3 defensive midfielders. You've got a lot of central midfielders. I do think, though, we need to add a 10. And if that's Cunha, I'm very, very happy with that. But I don't know. I'd love Cunha as a 10, but I'm just not sure that we would get it over the line because I think Man United are too advanced.
Yeah, you ain't got
at
that
this
pull.
stage.
You ain't got, I don't think you guys got that pull. You ain't got that pull to take it from our, from our grasp. You know what I mean? We're walking down. Cunha's walking down the aisle right now. I don't think you got the pull to stop him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I'm not sure about any other 10s out there in who we're linked with. There haven't been many, if I'm going to be honest. But a new left winger is a must, and a new striker is a must. We have to get those two positions. It cannot be one or the other. It has to be both.
Let me ask you both a question as well. Player that Man United are heavily linked to the last couple of days. Newcastle were the favourites to get him. Bryan Mbeumo. Is that an individual you would like to see Arsenal throw their hat into the mix for?
Yes.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a great player, and he also is funny enough the buzzword of Arsenal versatility. He's quite versatile in the attack, so he can cover a couple positions. Because if you sign him and sign a Gyokeres, it's like if Gyokeres gets injured, you can also have him up top. Although if Newcastle are interested in him and they get him, I wouldn't mind trying to snap up Anthony Gordon that I see links to.
Yeah, mate, I totally get it. 18 goals and 7 assists this season alone for Bryan Mbeumo, which is fantastic. You got Matheus Cunha as well. I'm just getting his numbers here. Loading.
You know
up.
what's the most impressive thing about Mbeumo is that
one second, Matt. 17 goals and 6 assists, and this is why I want Man United to get both of them. This is why, for me, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard because Newcastle are in for Bryan Mbeumo, but the reason why I want him is that's there. What we're looking at, that is 35 goals, and we also are going to get a striker. Goals change games, and that's been Arsenal's biggest problem this season. Yeah, do you know what? Conceding from set pieces has been a problem, but in a lot of your games, you were leading 21 points from losing positions, and in most of those games, you guys have had chances to get that extra goal or two and not taken them. Man United this season, and this is why I want my club so much to do it. The amount of games where we've been in the match, missed chances, concede and fall off. And that's why, for me, the clubs that pick up the Cunhas and the Bryan Mbeumos are gonna improve massively next year, because they're just players who score goals. And sometimes we overcomplicate football, and I get why. Add more buy more goals, and put them in your team, and you will see your team's points total improve, league positions grow, and chances of winning trophies improve as well. So, look, as a Man United fan, if we can get those two deals done, it's going to be it's already going to be. I think it's going to be a fantastic season for us next season in comparison to this year. But these players will be absolute game changers. So fingers crossed we get it over the line. I really, really do. Saad, what are you doing? You out running?
Listen, man, it's sunny today, man. It's a nice weather, bro. Do you know what I mean? I had to quickly go out.
He's outside, people. He's outside.
Yeah, man. Listen, for the people that say I don't touch grass, man, you see, listen, I'm here, bro. Do you know what I mean? Normally, you guys only see me in the studio, but do you know what I mean? We're outside today, bro. Get a bit of raise. But yeah, listen, I'll be real, man, because the thing is, I've still seen a lot of negativity, even though this signing has been kind of pre-announced in a way. I don't understand where it's all coming from, to be honest. I think this is an amazing signing. Like, the way I look at it is my thoughts on the manager have nothing to do with what the club does and like the players that come in. Whether I have belief in the manager doing anything or not, that has nothing to do with the players that are going to be coming in. I'm gassed that Zubimendi's in.
Yeah.
I'm gassed that we're keeping Thomas Partey, because that makes our midfield, bolsters our midfield even more, adds depth, adds all of this good stuff. So I'm excited to see him come in. It's definitely a good player to bring in, especially with the clubs that were after him, the Liverpools, the Real Madrids. So listen, we're beating a lot of clubs to this guy, and do you know what I mean? At the moment, he's given a verbal agreement. Now we have to wait and see, bro, because this guy is a flight risk, bro. So
he's already rejected us once.
Deep down, until he actually holds the shirt up, I don't know if I can truly believe it, bro. But yeah, listen, man, if he comes in, especially at the start of the if he comes in towards the start of the preseason, that's brilliant because we can have him for the whole pre-season. Do you know what I mean? And he's able to start straight away with us. That's the main thing for me. It's getting him in quickly, making sure he's ready for the new season. Because, yeah, man, listen, for a lot of other fans, next season is the season. Do you know what I mean? So we're gonna, especially for them fans, they're gonna want the club to be getting these guys in quickly and getting them.
You absolutely do, and I understand that not every Arsenal fan backs your manager, but that shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't get the view. I haven't heard a good enough piece of rationale as to why you shouldn't sign top players still. Though that doesn't make any sense. So I completely agree with you on that. Gents, I want to thank you all for calling in. I want to thank you all for being on. We're back later today covering the Premier League games and looking at the Champions League races that are going on. So join us for that later. Hit the like button before you go, please, people. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.